And your father, he came out of the army saying we wouldn't have any more children, we were too old. Because Jane was 3.5 then.
Yeah.
I thought, blow me, I want another child. So I was soon pregnant with your father. And he was born and 7 months old before we went to live with his father. So, you know, he used to come home every fortnight. And he never wanted boys, he wanted girls, but he was mad on your father. And strange enough, Rob was mad on his father. There was some very, very strong connection. It was strange, the strength of this connection between them.
Yeah.
So that was lucky, really. Oh, life's very strange and very... And Charles wasn't ordered, he just turned up. Oh dear. And they all went to good public schools, and he paid for their education from the age of about 4 till 18. And I never ever heard him say what he'd spent on school fees or, you know, anything. Very generous chap. He earned a good salary and we spent it. He bought a new car about every 5 years.
Wow.
And always a good car, not cheap ones, not cheap jobs. We had a Ford Zephyr, the first one we had, and it was £810.
Blimey.
Incredible, isn't it? That was in 1946 or 47.
Yeah.
Well, we were in a very nice house in Pettswood, semi-detached, but super house, beautiful garden, and it was £3,020.
Gosh.
Right.
Incredible, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh, but I think prices have gone mad now. I think the world's gone mad. I'm scared stiff of the world today. I've lived through 2 world wars, and I reckon I've lived in the best times. I'm scared stiff of it today.
Oh, you don't need to be scared, Nanny.
And I've never been away from church from a baby. I was in a choir at 14, and I was in a choir until a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And I'm not at all sure where I'm going. All I keep thinking about is, oh, I don't want to see them again. Oh, I hope I don't see them again. Half the people have gone I don't want to see. I'm just picking out ones I want to see. So I'm not at all sure where I'm going. So there we are.
Right. Tell me about Jane.
She was... he was on embarkation leave and I was in Cheshire going up to Yorkshire, and I said to the girls in the office before I left, I'll go mad if I don't become pregnant. And they said, what did you say? They thought I was crazy. And I can't remember Friday night, I must have got there about midnight. I can't remember Saturday at all. We were in quite a nice hotel, and Sunday we were having lunch, and it was a bowl of soup. And it was just like grey water.
Yeah.
Potato soup or something. And I tasted this soup and I felt absolute nausea. I said, oh, I think I'm pregnant. So he said, what did you say? He said, don't be ridiculous. I reckon Jane was heaven sent. I was pregnant with Jane.
Really?
And 9 months later she was born. And she was sheer joy from the moment she was born, Jane was. She was a fantastic baby.
Yeah.
No problem, smiling and happy. And at 12 months old, we were in my mother's house. She stood at the window. There was a garden, a lawn, and some where you grew vegetables. And my father had sown this lawn. And when he used to be gardening, he used to shoo birds off it as it was growing up. But, you know, as the lawn was growing,
Yes.
he was shooing birds off. And it had grown then, and my mother's room was surrounded with villagers all the way around the room, about 25 people, all come to see her. And she went to this, she was just one, she went to this window, and there were birds on this lawn, and she was going, shh, shh. And all these women saying, look at her, she's sending those birds up. She was a fantastic, clever little girl. She was very, very bright. And she was nearly 3.5 when her father came out of the army, and she didn't know him. If he spoke to her, she went to my mother and father to see whether to do it. And he came home in the middle of May, and I say at the end of June, the first week in July, he was transferred to London.
Oh, amazing.
And then he came home then every fortnight for another 18 months.
Yeah.
So, and he came out saying we wouldn't have any more children. Well, I was soon pregnant with Rob, and he was 7 months old before we came to live with him. So, you know.
And then he travelled all the rest of his life with ICI.
And then what?
Then he travelled for the rest of his life with ICI.
Yes, he did. Well, they got him. There was an architectural department in Cheshire.
Yeah.
And they took him out to come to London. And London head office hadn't got one then. And this lovely chairman, he was a Scotsman, an older man, said he wanted them to start an architectural department. And he would have to travel, he said, all over the world. And he came home telling them, and it sounded mad. He'd just come out of the army for 6 years.
Yeah.
And, you know, saying he'd have to travel all the way. I thought, what's he talking about, you know? Anyway, I'm not sure. Oh, we came down in the August, and his first journey was in January 48, 6 months later. A few months later, he went to Holland for 3 days. And from then on, he was travelling, you know, all over the world. He went to Paris and did a job in Paris. And, you see, the company were very good. When he went to Paris, he used to go Monday morning and come back Thursday night or Friday. And the chairman had said to him, you'll find the company quite generous, but never abuse it. You see. So when he had his money to go to Paris, and when he came back, say he got £20, £23 left.
Yeah.
And he would hand this money in, and they would take the 20, but they didn't want the 3.
Yeah.
They would have taken 25.
Yes.
But they never wanted these odd bits.
In between
they
bits.
took 20 and 25, but not the bit.
Yeah.
And these bits in between, a couple of pounds or whatever, always came to him. And he used to put them in a little box or something, this change. And he just about finished this job in Paris, and he'd saved £50.
Yes.
In these bits and pieces.
Yeah.
Over 12 months or so. And he said to the fellow in Paris, a fellow called Pitel, that he'd like to come to France for a holiday to spend this £50, you see.
Yeah.
And he didn't quite know, because they were in a terrible state, still great big potholes in the roads and that. And this chap said, he said, well, you can get to Brittany, you can get to the coast on Englishman. Oh, that is kind.
Oh, look.
Oh, thank you.
Isn't that beautiful?
And that's been there 30 odd years.
What, that rose?
I didn't go it. And so this chap said, well, you can get to the coast, French coast, on English money.
Yeah.
I said, why don't you just go down into Brittany? Which we did, you see, and met Savans, and then of course after that we went to Italy the following year, and we went to Italy for about 6 years, and then there we are. Isn't that beautiful?
Isn't that lovely?
I've not planted that. That's over 30 years old.
Really? Gosh.
Isn't it fantastic?
That's amazing. Was that there when you moved in?
Pardon?
Was it there when you moved in?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm that white one.
Gosh.
Oh dear, dear. So there we are.